welcome to the session. Thank you for joining. My name is Renee. I'm a guest speaker and a registered dietitian, and today's session topic is aging myths. Today we will cover a few different learning objectives. We'll talk about aging myths, navigating those myths, and available resources to help you thrive. So let's begin. First and foremost, fact or myth? I can't learn new things as I get older. Is that a fact or a myth? If you said myth, you are absolutely correct. We are capable to learn new things at any age, and don't let anyone tell you differently. Learning something new allows for autonomy and self-fulfillment, and there are so many benefits. First, trying new things improves brain function. Also, lifelong learning improves psychological well-being and health. Keep in mind that it does not need to be formal learning. Oftentimes when we think about learning, we are transported back to our childhood days of sitting in school desks, taking notes, and preparing for stressful exams. But learning can be non-formal, non-credit type learning. This can include sports, art, music, games, and even exercise. No matter how you see it, keep in mind that you can continue learning no matter what your age. Think about this. Have you tried learning something new recently? Is there something new you would like to learn? Maybe this can be a goal that you set this week. Think about, during this lesson, just one thing that you would like to learn that is a new skill, a new hobby, or even a new activity. Write it down, and hopefully that can be the first stepping stones to starting that process. So let's move on. Our next item, fact or myth? I do not need to exercise. Is that a fact or a myth? That is absolutely a myth. And now we'll talk about all the benefits of exercise and why it's so important at any age. First and foremost, exercise helps us to maintain strong bones and muscles. This is important not only for our strength, but also for our mobility and our balance. Next, exercise helps to control arthritis-related joint swelling and even pain. It also improves our mood and feelings of well-being. Think about last time that you exercised and how you left afterwards. Did you feel a little bit more uplifted than you did before you started exercising? And perhaps at the last point that we can see that exercises really reduces anxiety and depression symptoms, so it can be a wonderful tool to use in our toolbox. So now that we've talked about exercise, let's move on to our next fact or myth. Fact or myth? As I age, I am guaranteed to experience depression, loneliness, or feeling isolated. This is 100% a myth. Getting older, or more experienced, as we may call it, does not necessarily mean that you are more predisposed to depression, loneliness, and isolation. It's important to know that there are some ways to help combat those feelings of loneliness and isolation, and they include finding a local community of peers to spend time with, and staying connected through different technology. There are many ways to combat loneliness and isolation. First and foremost, find a community of peers to spend time with. You're doing that by joining us today. Really finding anyone that you feel comfortable can become your own community. Next, try joining a local club or even volunteering at an event. This can help you to engage in your community and give back when you have extra time to spare. Another way to combat this is to stay in touch with lifelong friends and your family members. Take initiative to reach out to them. Remember their birthdays. Try to find ways to connect from a day-to-day, and hopefully that can help you to maintain those relationships. And finally, try a new hobby to meet new friends. It's so important to know that even just attending one new exercise class, or maybe your local recreation center has an art class that they offer once a month. Putting yourself out there and just trying something new can often be a wonderful way to build a community. As you build your community, know that there are so many different ways to stay connected. Some people may prefer to be in person with other people. Others may find that they're not able to do this due to preference, mobility, or even their friends and families living far away. So don't worry, there are so many wonderful tools that you can use to still stay connected with the people that you care about. Shown here are just a few options that are available, but they include FaceTime, Zoom, texting, using WhatsApp, phone calls, and even handwritten letters. All of these are tools that are available to help you stay connected. So let's move on to our next fact or myth. Fact or myth? You need less sleep as you get older. Is that a fact or a myth? That is absolutely a myth. Sleep is so important, and our sleep needs stay relatively the same as we age. It's encouraged to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. And importantly, your patterns of sleep may change, so you want to maybe consider incorporating naps or just other ways to rest if your nighttime sleep is shorter. Something to note is that as we age, insomnia may be common. Insomnia often involves difficulty falling or staying asleep. So working on your ways to fall asleep and stay asleep are really important to maintain your health. So here's a question. How do you combat insomnia or difficulty sleeping? What do you do to wind down before bed? Take a moment and think about anything that you might be struggling with your sleep. Is there anything that you do to help yourself prepare for bed? Think about that for just a moment. There are many ways that we can support our sleep cycle. One of which is setting a timer 1 or 2 hours before our bedtime and using that time to wind down and prepare our bodies for sleep. One thing that we can do is to reduce the brightness of our lights 1 to 2 hours before bed. On that note, we can also avoid screens from our phones, our computers, our televisions. We want to avoid any bright light that would make our body think that it's daytime and that it needs to be alert and awake. In addition to reducing our light brightness, we can also incorporate other methods to help our body prepare for rest. This might include doing something relaxing, like taking a bath, reading a book, or even writing in a journal to help ourselves wind down from the stress from the day and stay very well rested throughout the night. All of these things can be incorporated to help your nighttime sleep routine. So now that we've talked about sleep, let's move on to our next fact or myth. Fact or myth? We need to eat a balanced diet to stay healthy. This is absolutely a fact. Here is a take on MyPlate, or the plate method, which is a visual tool that helps you to make a balanced plate. Anytime you make a snack or a meal, think about what your plate ratios look like. On the left side, you see that half of your plate should be filled with fruits and non-starchy vegetables. Non-starchy vegetables include items like broccoli, asparagus, and turnip greens, and other leafy greens in those families. Next, a quarter of your plate should be filled with starchy vegetables and starchy foods. These include potatoes, peas, whole grain rice, pasta, quinoa, the list goes on. But when you can, try to get fiber-rich carbohydrates in this section. That includes choosing whole grain rice, whole grain bread, and anything else that can help you to really boost your fiber is going to help you in the long run. And the final quarter of your plate should include lean protein. Most often we think of protein as our meats like beef, chicken, pork, and fish like salmon and tuna. But keep in mind you can also utilize plant-based proteins, which include quinoa, lentils, and even items like tofu. Feel free to switch up your proteins to keep things interesting, and overall you can use this plate method to help you stay balanced without thinking too much. As you think about how to balance your plate, you want to make sure that you're getting all the necessary food groups. One way to help make sure that your plate is balanced is by using your SNAP benefits. SNAP refers to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and there are many programs, such as Senior SNAP, that make it even easier for individuals 60 years and older to meet their criteria and to get these benefits. So it's so important that if you are eligible, to make sure that you're taking advantage of these. Your money can go a lot further. So the money that you have in your SNAP dollars might be used for the protein on your plate, or maybe the non-starchy vegetables, or maybe it helps you to try a new whole grain. Keep in mind that this is a wonderful resource that you have, and I want to make sure that you know that you can take advantage of it. To get more information about the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, you can take a picture of the QR codes shown on your screen, or you can call the number shown here. So given all of these myths, how exactly can we stay healthy as we age? Here are just a few examples. First, eat a balanced diet with a lot of color. Color is referred to micronutrients, so different colors on our plates help us to make sure that our bodies get all of the nutrients that they need to function and thrive. Get plenty of rest. We talked about our sleep cycle and our sleep routine, so make sure that you're really prioritizing sleep as much as your diet and your exercise. Exercise daily. So if you're currently doing some kind of movement, try to be more intentional about your exercise. Adults in general should be engaging in strength and cardio exercise. So if you're not doing both, see how you might incorporate little things on your day to help you maintain a standard, systematic, and hopefully consistent exercise routine. This can have wonderful benefits like the ones we mentioned earlier. Next, stay connected. Whether it's with your neighborhood, your friends, or your family members, or even people that you meet from day to day at the grocery store. Make sure that you're really maintaining those wonderful relationships and building them as you go. These are so important to helping us stay healthy as we age. Moving forward, remember that it's always important to learn something new. Engaging your brain in new and exciting activities can help you feel much better and to help your brain stay well. And finally, get some sunshine. Sunshine helps our bodies produce vitamin D, and it's so important, especially as we age. Sunshine exposure varies from person to person, and everybody's needs are different. But for many individuals, 15 minutes of sun on each arm can help our bodies produce vitamin D. It's important to know if you're staying in the sun for longer than that, be sure to apply proper sun protection. We've covered a lot of information today, from common aging myths to navigating these myths, and resources that are available to help you along the way. But don't worry, the support does not end here. Should you have any questions, use the contact information on your screen to contact a registered dietitian who can help personalize your needs and your goals and help you to achieve them. Thank you so much for joining. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.